Hello and welcome back. I hope you're well. And today we're going to discuss the 2-0 win at Newcastle in the first leg semi-final of the Carabao Cup. But before we get underway, I always forget this, so please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. It does help. Thank you very much. The team then were a bit of a shock when it first came out. Well, I certainly did. There was no recognised central defender. Sorry, central defensive midfield player. According to Pep, Nico Gonzalez suffered an incredible knock against Brighton. I don't know what that means. Does that mean, it's out the blue, it's just one thing, or is it something that's going to affect him for a while? I suppose that'll come out by the end of the week, I suppose, and we'll look at the team sheet for the derby. So when we looked at the team when it came out, there were no real good options for central midfield. I don't think. Rodgers, forget about it. I wasn't about to start him away at Newcastle at this stage. As we saw at Villa away, isn't a central midfield player, so a defensive central midfield player in the Premier League. So to go with what we had, as in Bernardo and Nico O'Reilly, was sort of the best options we could have had, certainly in my view anyway. I didn't rate their team very highly either, which maybe give me some additional confidence. Tonali not playing felt big. Walter Marder wasn't up front. I know that Vissa was a different threat, but he would have made me nervous if he was playing. Miley at fullback, decent enough young centre midfield player, but you'd always fancy Doku to get the best of him. And then there was no Harvey Barnes either, which again, I don't know what their fitness status is, but I like Harvey Barnes. I'd have been worried if he'd have started. So glad he didn't. The game got underway. It felt quite low key, really. I don't know if that was just how Sky's audio worked for this particular game, but it didn't seem the what do we call it, the hotbed up at Newcastle that they like to describe. So I thought the first 5 minutes were okay. Obviously, then Vissa nearly scores, but he ballooned it. They created Kuzo went to midfield, they knocked it around him. I don't think it was Kuzo's fault, but I just don't know where everyone was. They caught us a quick, good cross, and then good touch, but he knocked it over. But then we had our chance, didn't we? Bernardo's run, Doku's pass, cross, it didn't really come to anything. But I was happy with that. Nothing happening. I was quiet. I was quite happy with that. I said on the video before the game that I just wanted to dead the game. Don't give them any encouragement. Don't let the fans get up. Don't let the game get carried away from us. So I was happy. The commentators during the game say it's scrappy, it's this, it's that. I mean, yeah, it was. But if that was a European game, which I thought during the game, actually, I thought, well, if this is Europe, we're happy with this, aren't we? 0-0 half time, nothing really happening, and then we can build on that. And it was quite scrappy. And there's a few dodgy fouls, weren't there? O'Reilly and Joe Linton, I'll come on to that in a minute. Nunez and Gordon, Lewis Hall, we seem to kick him off the pitch and get away with it for the most part. I like him; he's a good player. But yeah, Semenyo, Bernardo, and I'm sure there's another one who give him a kick. But so what? He stopped them running past us. So yeah, all in all, I was happy with the first half. I didn't see any of the halftime analysis. I was working, so I didn't listen to any of that. But then the second half started, and I thought we started really, really well. Semenyo scores, fantastic goal. Those goals, just getting in there. The easy goals, aren't they? If you're a winger for a team like City, just run into the box. You're gonna get summer. Anticipate where the ball's gonna land, and you're gonna get summer. Doku doesn't do it. Savio doesn't do it. Grealish doesn't do it. Bernardo doesn't do it. I know he's not really right winger, but that's 4 players that we've had over the last 2 years playing in those positions who simply don't do what Semenyo was doing. So he'll get a few goals this season just doing that. Never mind anything else. So 1-0, all going well, and then the second one goes in. Then we have to sit there for almost 6 minutes watching VAR find reasons to disallow it. Now, the offside wasn't really in dispute, was it? Well, I suppose it was if you talk about the 5 centimetre rule and all that. But let's put that to one side. Let's say the offside's not in dispute. What is in dispute is he impacting the defender or the goalkeeper? Well, he might be impacting the defender, but that's because the defender's got his arms around him. And he's not impacting the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's jumping the other way and would have to get past his own defender to get the ball anyway. So there's no way that he was interfering to the level. In addition to that, it was 3 yards out. You know, this guy have cat-like reflexes to save that, or the defender to kick off the line. There was no chance. It made no material difference, that goal, whatsoever. But the fans in the ground sat there for the best part of 6 minutes. I mean, what for? To disallow a fan a disallowed goal? I was listening to Talk Sport earlier. You know, Jim White was reeling off these stats that, 98% of all of our decisions are correct. Well, sure they are. They make the fucking rules. Of course they're correct. Oh, yeah, that was right, John, wasn't it? Oh, yes, that was right, John. Yes, that was right, Dave. Yeah, of course it was. Now, they make the fucking rules. So unless something's blindingly obviously wrong, they're always going to be correct. And second of all, while I'm on Jim White, he says it doesn't matter if it takes best part of 6 minutes as long as we get the right decision. I'll tell you what, Jim, buy a fucking ticket yourself, go to a game, sit in the gods, and wait there in the freezing cold for 6 minutes while you find out if a goal's scored or goal's going to count or not. Do that, and then tell me it's worth it. Fucking freeloader. I don't usually mind him, but, fucking all these Talk Sport, station of the working class and all that, is he? Bollocks. It's a Tory station. Tories for Tories, that station. Anyway, let's move on. So yeah, it was an absurd decision in my view, along with the length of time. It was just silly. It was just silly, wasn't it? We all watched it. It was just silly. But justice was done in the end. 2-0, Cherky at the death. Probably could have done a bit better earlier on in the game as well after he came on as sub, but I'll talk about that in a bit when I go through the players. And we've got 1 foot in the final, haven't we? I mean, are they really going to come to our ground and beat us 3-1 or 3-0? People say stranger things have happened, but I don't think they have. I don't think anything stranger in recent memory has happened that would equate to Newcastle coming to our ground and knocking us out. I can't think of anything. Comments below if you can. But it's in 3 weeks, isn't it? 3 weeks. That probably does us some favours, actually. Diaz might be close to fitness. We might have another centre back in the door. Marmoush should definitely be back by then. So it probably does benefit us, but it does feel a bit weird being so far away. I remember they did that with the Champions League a couple of years ago, the round of 16. It's like 3 weeks away. Forgot what happened in the first leg, It's all a bit silly. Keep it going, play it quicker, but what do I know? So yeah, I mean, it's a great result. Pep's comments about the VAR, I'm not going to go through them all, but you could take it one way. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I just think it's nonsense. I think it's silly. I don't think it's a conspiracy that the Crystal Palace goalkeeper didn't get sent off in the cup final. I just think it's rubbish. I think they're talking rubbish and then have to re-engineer reasons to justify the position. It's just boring, isn't it, talk about? It's just boring, dull. Finding reasons to disallow goals. Painful. Anyway, so we'll talk about our player performances because I think there's some really good ones to talk about and some that maybe aren't. But the subs as well, I thought they had a real impact and show the strength of our squad if people get back to fitness. Trafford in net, that was pretty obvious. Wasn't he? He's played all the cup games so far this season, so there's no question he was going to play. I thought it was good. The overall was good. Small passing, good. A few good saves. Did he have the one that hit the post cord in the second half? Maybe not. But Newcastle didn't really do much, did they? I know they threw the ball in. Voltemada nearly got a header and they hit the post and a few good shots. But that's it. That's what happens. Teams do that, don't they? Teams will have shots against you. It'll happen at the weekend. They'll throw the ball in the box and see what happens. But from a chance creation perspective, I don't think we look vulnerable at all. So Trafford made a few good saves. I thought his long kicks in the first half, there was 2, maybe 3, which I thought were a bit weird. They just went nowhere. Just went nowhere. So I don't really know what that was all about. But a bit like Jordan Pickford, he just leathers it. But he still makes me a little bit nervous. But that might be a me problem. That might be something I need to work with and talk through myself rather than being a Trafford problem. Because he did handle himself pretty well on corners. Yeah, he had a good game, didn't he? He had a good game. If something happened to Donnarumma, I think we'd be in reasonably safe hands. Not for any length of time, but I don't think he's good enough to be our first choice goalkeeper. I don't think that's particularly controversial, but I think cup goalkeeper, yeah, more than good enough. Nunes, a right back. Now I was watching the game and I thought, bloody hell, Nunes, he's our like senior, solid, reliable defender. How has that happened? In terms of Ake isn't reliable to injury, Nunes is never injured, seniority, obviously older than Max, and so you're thinking here's a guy to rely on, and he looked pretty solid. We kept having words with the ref when he fouled Gordon. I was like, oh my god, what are you doing? Was that mistimed? Because he thought he could get it. If it is, he's got a problem perhaps with timing slide tackles. If it was just a petulant "I want to boot you up in the air," we don't really want that either, do we? Particularly going to Old Trafford next week. But generally speaking, I thought it was fantastic. Again, Nunes fantastic. That's never a sentence I thought I'd say back in August. So fair play to him. The two people that had us nervous, or certainly had me a little bit nervous, Max Elaine and Kusanov. I mean, it's all about nerves. If Max and Kusanov make us nervous, just spare thought for United fans who have to watch Yoro and that Heaven bloke play at centre half. So I think we're doing all right on the young centre half front. Yoro cost 60 million quid. He's not worth 60 million quid with 60 million in his pocket. Shite. But more on them on another video. I thought they were both excellent. I thought they both got decent pace, good in tight spaces. Two different threats that they had to deal with Visser's pace and movement, or with his Voltemada's presence, for want of a better phrase. Then yeah, I think they did. I think they both did really, really well. I mean, I still think we need an extra defender this week for numbers, if nothing else. Ake, did you see his legs? I couldn't tell you. He was strapped up like anything. You're thinking this can't carry on. But then Norris backs. Maybe he goes at left back, and we give Ake sort of rotation in that way. I don't know. But Kusanov's medium to long range passing, good. Pace, good. Tackles, good. Awareness, good. Tick, 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 as far as I'm concerned, and the pair of them. Max Elaine was at Watford, this time last week. So yeah, fair dues to him. Both passing the test with flying colours. And with Max Elaine, we talk about Victor Hayes at Girona. Max is in the building. Someone can be playing for Girona pretty well, but Girona's over there somewhere. This guy is playing in front of Pep, in front of the coaching staff, in front of the senior players, and he's seemingly holding his own along with Kusanov. It's a shame that it's okay. It's taken injuries to get them in the team. So far so good, and the pair of them. And should they play against United, I'd rather have someone more senior at centre half. But the pass every other test. If they go to St James's Park and play well, they certainly go to Old Trafford and play well, can't they? Because United haven't got much going forward outside of referees giving them the helping hand and set pieces and so on. Ake, I thought he was really good. I thought he was. I mean, I know he got caught a couple of times with Murphy. Considering, it's his third start in a week, he was strapped up to death, like I mentioned. Thought he put in a good senior performance, and I was happy with him. I think contributed in just keeping things tight, keeping things simple, nothing to get carried away with. But yeah, thank you very much. If he does leave this winter or in the summer, some Premier League team has got a very, very good senior centre back. So someone like Palace probably won't be in Europe next season. Oh, they might be if they win the Europa Conference, I suppose. But yeah, so someone like that will have a very good, experienced centre back. Maybe back to Bournemouth or something. I don't know. But for us, we've probably moved on from him now, haven't we? And it's time for him to go. If the conditions are right for him to go this month, because we don't want to turf him out. He's been a good player for us, treble winner, so need to treat him properly. But yeah, if we can get maybe Matt Gay in and then get Ake gone as well, so yeah, that should be good. Bernardo, I know Bernardo gets a lot of stick online, and I love the guy. And listen, right wing, he's not the most creative, is he? Those days of scoring against Real Madrid are long gone, but that performance yesterday was proper captain's display. He's next to a young midfield player. there's not many players that can get the ball like he gets and just run around with it in the middle of midfield until someone fouls it. It's brilliant to watch. And I think that's what we needed. So I don't think we have a problem with Bernardo playing in midfield, particularly in big games. That's where I want to see him. I don't know if you saw Pep's comments about it. Basically saying, the club's going to miss him when he goes. He wishes he could stay forever. Pep wishes Bernardo could stay forever. And he said he knows all the rules. It basically means he's going to line someone up and kick people till he gets booked and then stop and then dive at the right time to win free kicks for his team, and showing his experience. I thought it was exceptional yesterday. I thought it was exceptional. I thought it was probably not, but wasn't far off. And O'Reilly next to him, a bit nervous in O'Reilly midfield. I know he did it against Exeter, but this Newcastle away is a little bit different. But he stood up to Joe Linton, didn't he? Give it him back, which is good. Got booked, Edus, but then didn't lose his rag. Didn't fall into any sort of traps that inexperienced players might fall into. And I thought it was excellent. And will he play midfield against United? Probably not. Or maybe not. I think probably maybe not. We don't know what Rodder's situation is or Nico Gonzalez's situation is. But I wouldn't be against it, that midfield. If you can cope with Joe Linton, Bruno Guimaraes in midfield, I'm sure you can cope with whichever combo you want to perm at United. I've not got a problem with him if he needs to play midfield for other games. Semenyo, I mean, what else is there to say? I know it's early days. Looks a business, doesn't he? He looks a business. 65 million quid. Thank you very much. I didn't see much of him at Bournemouth. I saw him a bit, as I said in the other video. Saw him play against Chelsea away and the other one away, United away, and he looked good. And he's hit the ground running for us. It's early days, but so far so good. I don't want to compare him to Savinio, only Doku to a lesser extent, but I will. Obviously caveat with they're younger than him and all the rest of it, but his decision making on the ball seems superb. He's got. You can see him thinking. You can see him doing the right things. Gets in the 6-yard box for tap-ins. His strength is obviously a plus. His speed, his physicality when the ball goes up to him. Whether it's winning headers, chest it down, bringing other people into play. He's superb. I was listening to something this morning saying, where does he fit on our winger roster? Is he first choice winger, second choice winger, third choice winger, etc. Well, he's the first choice as far as I'm concerned. Pick him and then perm someone else. Whilst Docky's had a good season, got one goal, maybe two, I'm not sure, maybe at least one. And that's not enough. We're in January. And this guy's coming, hit the ground running, clear knows where the net is. So get him on the pitch and take it from there. Foden, tough day at the office for him. I did see a stat that no players ran more than him this season. And maybe I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe he should do less running, and I don't know. Maybe he's tired. I don't know. Maybe he needs a rest. Maybe he needs some easier games. But United next week, innit? That's a goal against United. But you can't question his work rate, can't question his application. But he's just missing that. When was his last goal? Feels like it was a while ago. Well, he left big goals a while ago, it feels. So, hopefully he can get back on track against United at the weekend if he plays. Or maybe go off the bench, and have an impact like Cherky did. Jezza, Doku. Thought he looked good, particularly in the first half. Not a lot to say, really, is it, about him? I thought he did all right. He's a threat. But, he needs to turn into goals, doesn't it? He needs to turn into goals. Talking to someone who needs to turn effort into goals, Haaland. I mean, for all those pundits saying what they're going to do when Haaland stops scoring, well, we're finding out now, aren't we? And we're drawing games, and although we won yesterday, he didn't even get a look in. Is that him issue? I think his runs seems to go to the back post all the time, which is fine if you've got other players flooding the near post, but we don't really have that. So I just think he needs to get a bit busier, get across the defender a little bit more. And I know towards the end he made some poor runs, but I just put that down to tiredness. So we won't go too much into that. When is he going to get a break? He's not going to get a break against United. And then it's Bodo Glimt. I just rest him against them. Marmee should be back for then. And if not, it's Bodo Glimt on a artificial pitch. I wouldn't want to play him on that anyway. Well, give him a week off or something. Let him concentrate on YouTube or whatever else he wants to do. But just give him a week off. And it's Wolves at home. We should be beating them by half time anyway, and then get him off, and then we can maybe start again. But I think he needs some time out of the team. But we're light up front, aren't we? So we won't be able to do that. Subs, I'll touch on the subs actually, because I don't usually do it in great detail, but the subs, I thought they were excellent by and large. I thought they were really good in terms of making impact on the game, making a solid in parts, but then also giving us a threat on the break. So, Rodders, he came on, Rodri, and he's a class apart, isn't it? You can see when he comes on the floor, the team just goes, whoop, just risen. And everyone around him, he gave a ball a couple of times, but again, he's probably a little bit rusty. But, I liked him. And, is that enough to make him for him to start against United? I hope so. He's got to start sooner or later, hasn't he? Play him against United and then, again, give him a rest against Bodo Glimt as well. And then it's Wolves again. So the same thing with Haaland, I suppose. That's how I'd look to do it. Rico Lewis. The book for time wasting. The cheeky bastards. If referees were that asked about time wasting, they wouldn't spend 6 minutes disallowing goals, would they? Cheeky bastards. Anyway, also, what was he doing? He was waiting for his team to be in position to throw it. Half these teams in the Premier League get the towel out, call the defenders up. Come on, boys, everyone up. It takes ages. And they're not booked for time wasting because Rico stood there. Easy victim for the ref, I think. Easy victim. Busy ref. But I thought Rico Lewis, again, I thought he was excellent. Helped us keep the ball small. Different type of defender to Nunes, obviously. But the small passing, short passes helped us get out a couple of times, which was good. And yeah, like I've said, and I maintain, he's got a role in this team. If he's happy, I'm happy. You know what I mean? If he's happy doing that, and then again, probably play against Wolves or someone like that, probably play against Bodo Glimt. He's happy with that sort of dipping in and out. Then I'm happy. I'm happy as well. Ait Nouri, good to see him on the pitch. Straight after playing from AFCON, making an impact, which is good because his impact prior to going to AFCON was, none. I won't go as far as say negative. Well, let's say neutral. Any impact one way or the other. So good that he got an assist. Good run, top assist, really good. Reinders, he came on decent enough, wasn't he? I suppose decent enough. But I think that should be his role for now on. For now, anyway. He wouldn't start me against United. I wouldn't have started him yesterday. So as a impact sub to come on, have a few shots, run around a bit. I think he's fine, but I don't think he's good enough to start at the moment. And last but not least, Ryan Cherky. First of all, the goal. Look at the positives. What a goal! I mean, his flick to Ait Nouri, carried on his run, cross the finish. Excellent. Tick, tick, tick. So I was like saying tick. However, there were 3 or 4 times in the second half where he could have made a better decision, whether it's to shoot or not to shoot, or to pass or not to pass. I think the decision was pretty poor. But then the shot he did have, which went through to the keeper, I thought that wasn't good enough either. So, if that game finishes 1-1, I think we're having a different discussion about Cherky's impact as a sub. But it didn't finish 1-1, and goals are what it's all about. So, and he got them. So, is it enough to start against United? I don't know. I think I'd be quite happy to off the bench. I think, but I'll think about that, and then we'll do a video on Friday about that. But yeah, so one foot into the final, man of the match has got to be Semenyo, hasn't it? He's brilliant. He's brilliant. So yeah, we like him. 1 foot in the final. I can't see Newcastle come to our place and beat us 3-0 or 3-1 and take it to extra time. No chance, as far as I'm concerned. Well, again, we'll discuss that in more detail nearer the time. Subs had a good impact. Good. Hopefully a few of them get against Bodo Glimt and, give some of the senior players a rest. There's still links with Mark Gahey. We're talking about, City contemplating a bid. That was on TalkSport earlier. Contemplating. Doing or not doing. Just do. Just do. I think we need a centre-half anyway. So you either buy one now or you buy one in the summer. And this guy, if he's available, if he's down money, it's just a negotiation. If he's concerned about playing time in the future, then forget it. Forget it. City's success built on having a squad, going back to the days of Tevez, Dzeko, Balotelli and Aguero. 4 strikers, the 2 positions. Going back to that, we've always had strong squads. That's how we've won so many trophies. Like I said in the other video, go and have a look at the treble bench. Each player on that bench had a better CV than he's got. I don't think he's any position to start jumping up and down demanding what he should be doing. So listen, if you want to come, great. Fight he plays like everybody else. But if you're not up for it, you're not up for it. But hopefully he is, and hopefully we get it over the line soon. So, so we'll call it a day there. I think there's a perfect display, less VAR, but I don't want to be one of these boards who talk about VAR, so I'll try not to in future. When things like that happen, you can't not talk about it. Okay, so we'll leave it there. Like I mentioned at the start, please like, subscribe. If you got this far, I appreciate it. And tell a friend to tell a friend. I'll be back for a preview of the United game. That'll probably be Thursday or Friday. So click the notification bells when that comes out. And if you've got any comments, please leave them below and we'll have a chat down there. So thank you very much and onwards and upwards. And I'll see you for the United preview. Take care.